What's up? It's Big Hot Rod and L Train coming at y'all. Man, it's the T-Train show. Y'all know what time it is, man. What up, T? What up, Hot Rod? What up, L Train? Y'all know what time it is, man. It's the
Welcome to another edition of Three the Hard Way. Coming at you off camera, I had me a Philly cheesesteak. I'm eating a little bit of cheese pizza. I got a nice slice of cheddar cheese right next to me for that big Cleveland Browns win. But enough of that. Before we get into all that, I gotta introduce my fellas. As always, we're bringing in the influencer, the coach, Mr. Rodney Young. What's going on, Hot Rod?
What's going on, Three the Hard Way Nation? Listen, y'all know who I am. It's your friendly neighborhood coach. And as I always say, you may not like what I'm saying, but you will listen.
And right beside us, and you better stand up at attention, is the captain, Mr. Terrence Austin. What's up, T? How's it going?
What's happening, fellas, and what's happening, everyone out there, Three the Hard Way Nation? What's going on? Let's get this ship underway. Let's get it rolling.
Man, let's get it rolling. Cleveland Browns yesterday upset the Green Bay Packers. I have to tell you, I had some neighbors over on Sunday night, and they were giving me, not Sunday night, Saturday night, and they were giving me the business about the Cleveland Browns, and they were talking so much crap around the campfire, and I told them, I said, y'all talking so much crap, man, that's bad juju. And sure enough, the upset happened. Cleveland Browns rally 13-10. Packers led 10-zip with about 4 minutes left to go in the game. Couldn't complete the deal, fellas. What do you think about that game yesterday, man?
I tell you, let me kick it off with how impressed I was down the stretch that the Browns were able to get close within field goal range, down the ball and get the kicking team out with 2 seconds, remaining to give us the victory. So that's what I was impressed with. All day long, the offense was kind of like spinning in mud, man. They were just dragging. They were dragging. They were dragging the whole game. However, you got to give Joe Flacco credit for that last drive that gave us the opportunity to win. And yes, we did it, with the kicker that I wanted to run out of town a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to run Szmyt out of there, wanted to run him out. But hey, bigger heads, better heads knew more so than me as a fan, as a passionate fan, kept the kid around, and man, he came through. So I hadn't screamed so loud since the NBA playoffs.
There you go.
Watching our Cavaliers, I haven't screamed and yelled so much, and I'm sure the neighbors heard. I'm sure they heard. They said, "Oh, the Browns must have done something." Yeah, because I got a Packer fan on one side and I got a Washington Commander fan on the other side, and they heard me. Yeah, they heard me. But yeah, that's where I just want to start it off. I'm sure we'll talk about it. There's some holes that we have to fill. There's some things that we have to clean up. But again, give Joe Flacco credit for, putting us in the position to kick the game-winning field goal, and also, too, for our defense just keeping us in the game, man.
Elite.
That defense, I tell you, man, hats off to them, just keeping us around, because that was a good team we beat yesterday, okay? That's a team that people are talking about, hey, that's
going to the
Super Bowl. That's right. And they are a good team, but you know what? Hey, we were ready for them yesterday, so, hey, it was great to get a win. So let's go get another one next week. Let's go get another one.
You know it's a big win when you look over at Hot Rod and you see what he's got on his head. He's trying to downplay it like flying under the radar, but he got his Cleveland Browns gear. Hot Rod, what you think of that game yesterday, bro?
For me, the defense was elite. Shout out to Jim Schwartz, scheming. Being a former defensive line coach, that defensive line was absolutely outstanding. And I'm not just talking about Myles Garrett. I mean, I'm talking about the young man from Michigan that we got in there, Huntington, who was an undrafted free agent, came in, got him a sack. I mean, you name it, man. They were elite. They showed that they are an elite defense.
They are.
Offensively, yes, we're still in mud, but shout out to Quinshon Junkins. He ran his tail off, almost ran for 100 yards. I think if he get a lot more reps up under his belt, they're going to be fine. But I really want to shout out the defense. And you know what, special teams too, because I've given special teams some grief over these last couple of games. Bubba Ventrone but they did the job yesterday. Borges, he had a punt that landed at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
The Szmyt kid, bless his heart, I said he had 3 games. And so he kicked a 55-yard field goal to win the game. Now, what I do respect about the young man is he didn't make excuses. He said he didn't. He wasn't. So he missed the kicks. They weren't, and he could have, because coming to find out, his mother had passed away right before he went into training camp.
Yeah.
So he had a lot on his mind. He had just lost his mom. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Suddenly. And so he didn't want to make excuses. So that's why he never said anything. So shout out to that young man, what I mean, for sucking it up. And I'm glad he made that kick. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I knew he was going to make it. I really did. That was his moment. And I knew he was he's not going to be a Biletnikoff winner and not be able to kick the football. So I knew he would eventually get through to that. Shout out to the field goal block team. I know Shelby Harris got the block, but I thought Denzel Ward got it when he came off the edge, because he's done that before.
I did too, yeah.
I think he might have tipped it, and then Shelby got the rest of it, because I saw it when it was set up, because Denzel got tight in the formation. I knew he was coming off the edge. And so shout out to the Browns defense and special teams. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed Quinshon Junkins taking the game over. Unfortunately, we got some injuries that took place. DeJuan Jones just found out today. He's out again for the rest of the season. Knee injury again. And so that young man, I'm going to be honest with you, this is like his second or third knee injury in the past couple years. He might want to, make some decisions. And I think it's just because he's just so massive. He's just so big. You know what I mean? We still got issues with Jack Conklin, which I heard he was dealing with an elbow injury, and I don't know how elbow injury keeps you away from the game for 3 games. I don't understand that. We got 2 backup tackles. We making it work right now, but listen, going against Minnesota, going against Pittsburgh and Detroit, we got to do something, and Joe Flacco looked a little scary back there yesterday, and rightfully so when you got Micah Parsons screaming off the edge at you.
Yeah.
I get it, but there were some throws that he missed.
He couldn't see downfield.
Some wide receivers. I think for me, I'm getting tired of the check down. He's checking down a lot.
He's checking down a lot.
And he's getting his running backs killed because he's checking down so much. But we'll get back to that. But no, shout out to the defense. Great job to the defense. This is an elite defense. Even though Baltimore put up 41, they shut down Derrick Henry. They are an elite defense. And this game reminded me of the 49ers game last year.
49er game, yep, exactly. When we beat the 49ers with P.J. Washington 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Sure does, yep.
This is 3 the hard way, man. And the one thing I like about us is that we tell it like it is. And so there are times where we have to get a little bit critical of the Cleveland Browns. We've done that in past weeks. I know a lot of people write in and say, man, you guys are critical of the Cleveland Browns. No, we tell it like it is. So today we're going to tell it like it is too. Like, I feel like a lot of the national pundits, people that follow the Green Bay Packers and Green Bay Packer fans, like, man, you can't have it both ways. Here's what the Browns did. The Browns shut down a potential MVP candidate in Jordan Love. But there are a lot of people out there that got him in the MVP conversation, talking about he's going to be the MVP. The Cleveland Browns put him on his butt several times.
Yeah, they did.
On Sunday, that defensive line got at him a little bit, confused him, and then forced him into bad decisions. Then you have a lot of people saying that Jacobs is one of the best running backs in the league. He was pedestrian yesterday against that elite Cleveland Browns defense. So kudos to the Cleveland Browns. And then you insert Micah Parsons, who's who people think is one of the best linebackers in the league, which he is. As soon as he came to the Packers, what were they talking? They were talking about, oh, this is Super Bowl. You had one of the Green Bay Packers offensive lineman this past week talking about they may go undefeated for the
Yeah.
year. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the type
Yeah.
of talk that they were
Exactly.
talking about in
Exactly.
Wisconsin, and they came
Exactly.
into Cleveland. And you know what happened? They came into Cleveland, they took their foot off the pedal. And this is not throwing any shade at Cleveland, but I thought it was a great game plan by the Cleveland Browns. I thought
Exactly.
their defense stepped up. Everybody puts the Cleveland Browns defense in that elite category. They were elite against what people were calling the Super Bowl favorite in
Yes,
the
they were.
NFC. So
Exactly.
hats off to the Cleveland Browns.
Yep.
Game plan was solid. The only stain on the game is that offense. Because now what you have, and I got a bunch of emails over the past 24 hours. Now what you have is people looking at this team, the potential of this defense. I mean, fellas, this is a Super Bowl defense. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
You know, if you have an offense, if you have a quarterback that can move the team, and the Cleveland Browns are in the conversation for being in the AFC Championship, what do we do about the offense? Is it as simple as a quarterback change? Do you see it as being a play calling issue? Do you see it as Joe Flacco being too old? I mean, let's dive into this. Like, what's going on with the Browns offense?
Yeah. I'll start here. Now it's going to be hard sitting him down after a win. It's going to be hard sitting Flacco down. Okay. My thing is, L Train and Rod and fans out there, from what I saw yesterday, he doesn't trust the line. Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't trust the line. And, the ball is snapped. He's missing guys downfield. Remember that Flea Flicker play?
Yes.
The guy was wide open. I can't think of the wide receiver's name. He was wide open. But basically, Joe just doesn't trust his offensive line, which is leading to, bad decision-making back there, bad playing on his behalf, because, again, he's just not mobile. He cannot move. He can't move. He still got arm strength, but as far as moving, he just can't move. And part of that is because of the offensive line, okay? Now, going forward, after listening to all the experts today on, Cleveland radio, my thing is, hey, I don't want to wear down the defense. Like big brother Greg said, it's got to be some balance. You can't keep the defense out there on that field all most of the game. You can't.
Yeah,
And then yesterday, too, with those beautiful brown uniforms that I like, those guys were burning up out there, man. They were burning up in those uniforms. So, again, it was wearing the defense down, wearing them down. My thing is, next week, hey, even with the offensive line in kind of shambles because of injuries and this and that, I would give Flacco a half, okay? I would just give him a half. Come halftime, if he looks anything like he did this past Sunday and the Sunday before, it's time to go ahead and pull the trigger, okay?
Win or
Now,
lose, T, whether they winning or losing at halftime?
well, at halftime, if he looks the way he does.
Okay.
Now, the scary thing about that, Coach Herm Edwards said the other day that once you move on from the veteran and go with the young guys, you can't go back to them.
Yep.
And Herm Edwards, the coach, would know that, okay?
Yep.
But again, I just don't want to wear down his defense, man. So again, like I say, it's got to be, in the plan this week. Hey, man, we're going to give you another shot, but come halftime again, if you're looking the same way, I got to pull the trigger and get Dillon there. That's my thing. Because again, I don't want to wear down this defense. I don't want to. We can't afford to because the defense is playing that well. That's my take on that.
So I'm a if you give me a little leeway, I'm gonna break this down like a fraction. It goes in three different phases. Number one, the offensive line is old and antiquated. Joe Bitonio could barely walk this week, and he went out and he played.
Yeah, you've been saying that, Rod, for a while.
Yeah. This offensive line is very old. Now that DeJuan Jones has gone down, which I'm going to defend DeJuan Jones right here and say this. DeJuan Jones was never, ever a left tackle. He was not a left tackle. He is a right tackle. When he was at Ohio State, he played at right tackle. He played a little bit of left tackle, but he is not a left tackle. They tried to make him into a left tackle, and he's hurt again, so he's gone. All right, he's gone for the year. All right, Jack Conklin, we have no idea what's going on with him. I said this before that you shouldn't have signed him to a contract the last time they gave him an extension because he was injury prone then. So I didn't understand that. And so now you got an aging Joel Bitonio who probably should have retired last year. Okay, he came back, and if you look, Joel is out of shape big time. Okay, and then you're looking at Ethan Posich, he's long in the tooth, and Wyatt
Yeah.
Teller. This offensive line is old. And then you have Joe Flacco behind, where these guys are not pass blocking at all. There was times where guys were just coming ridiculously free
Yeah.
on just twists
Yeah,
and
they were.
stunts. They were coming free. And so Joe is scary back there. That
Yeah.
flea flicker that T is talking about, I think that was Jamari Thrash who was running wide open. But
Okay.
Joe was so scary because he saw something barreling down, he couldn't even get the pass off. Joe is immobile back there. He's not, he doesn't move. He can't move. And so for an immobile quarterback not to be able to get hurt, you have to have an offensive line. Thirdly, that wide receiving core is terrible, including Jerry Jeudy. I'm going to ride Jerry Jeudy till the brakes fall off. Jerry Jeudy is not a number one receiver. You know, it was so bad this week that I heard reports that Odell Beckham Jr. was actually reaching out. You know what I mean? And here's the sad part. I'll take Odell than I would Jerry Jeudy. I know that's a controversial take, but Odell can at least run routes and get himself open. Okay? Jerry Jeudy can't catch a cold right now. All right?
Yeah.
And the other receivers, you know, no disrespect to them, they young. Okay?
Yeah.
So you got a 3-tier issue going on. Okay? You found your running back. Okay? You found a back. I'm not saying he gonna be Nick Chubb. You know I got much love for Nick Chubb. But he's gonna be a competent replacement. All right? So now you got a running back. All right. So now, and let's be honest, Jerome Ford did not run the ball at all yesterday. Thank goodness. Okay. He was in for a couple plays, but he did not run the football at all. All right.
And the other kid got one rush.
Yeah. Because Dylan Sampson is a third down scat back, slot back. That's who he is. He's not an everyday back. But you don't want to wear out Quinshon Judkins. Yes, he's young, but you don't want to wear him out. But it's a threefold thing. Your wide receivers are not getting open. Your offensive line is not blocking. Their run blocking is next to nothing. So it's not just Joe Flacco. If you put Dylan Gabriel back there, yes, he can move. That's what you need. You need a mobile quarterback, somebody who can move around in the pocket. However, they're gonna ride Joe till they can't ride him anymore, until Joe gets knocked out or something of that nature, because Joe understands the offense. Okay, and then finally, it is also a Kevin Stefanski thing. Some of the calls that he had yesterday had me scratching my head. Okay, it was like a 3rd down and 6, and he wanted to run the football. And then when it's time to run the football, he's dropping back and he's throwing it. I'm not understanding his mindset in terms of certain things that Kevin Stefanski is doing. So
trying to be the smartest person in the room. That's what he's doing.
But there is some issues, and it's not just the quarterback position. I know all the talking heads in Cleveland are talking, and I know you heard it too, T. They talking about, well, let's just go ahead and let's throw Gabriel in. It's not going to change. You're just going to have a younger, more mobile quarterback. If you don't get anybody on that offensive line that can run block and that can pass protect, Dylan is going to be running for his life. Okay, so there's the issue with the Browns right there. Okay, the defense, like I said, the defense is stellar. It's outstanding. If the Browns offense can just put up 21 a game, the Browns will win with that defense. They'll win. Just 21. It don't have to be 30. But if they put up 21 to 28 points a game, the Cleveland Browns will win.
When you look at the Cleveland Browns running game, and I thought you made some great points there, man. When you look at the Cleveland Browns running game, Quinshon Judkins has shown that he can be and he will be a playmaker for the Cleveland Browns. To use the term that Hot Rod says all the time, however, I feel like his frame and his build, I don't know if he will ever be that bell cow back. Currently, this year, the way his body is, in terms of getting like 25, 30 carries a game. I don't think that that's good for him, right? So I think there is a role for Jerome Ford on this team to be able to take some of those blows, to a certain extent. You give Quinshawn some rest. You give him the majority of the carries during the game. I just want his body to be able to hold up for a year, because this kid is going to be dynamic out of the backfield. And then you can sprinkle in, the other running backs, Dylan Sampson. You can sprinkle him in third down, scat back, a.k.a. reincarnation of Eric Metcalf. I'm not saying he is Eric Metcalf, but kind of,
be
the
careful.
similar. Yeah, I know that, man. The similar skill set. So I would like to see them continue to incorporate Quinshawn Judkins into their plans. I just don't want to see him get overloaded, to get tired, fatigued, and just get banged up throughout the year, because then we're back to square one, and we're sure enough going to have to rely on Ford.
Yeah, and let me throw this in. Now after listening to Rod break it down in football terminology, now I'm concerned about Quinshawn, okay?
Yeah.
Going forward. Yeah, I really am. The way our offensive line is banged up going into game 3. We're not even a quarter into the season yet. 17 games is a long season. So now I'm concerned, going forward for him. So I don't think the best thing would be to do is put Dylan Gabriel in there. Just let Flacco hold on as long as he can.
Right.
And hopefully that he will improve. Hopefully, maybe there'll be some added motivation after winning, beating a good team yesterday going forward. Just so we can just hold on as long as possible. Because the way you describe that offensive line, I'm concerned about Quinshawn, and now I don't want to throw, Dylan back there. I don't.
Right. It's just watching it from a coach's point of view. Watching the offensive line, everybody, I saw Joe was skittish yesterday. There were a lot of times where they did have a pocket for him, and he was so shook, that, he, once again, he turned and he checked down. But when you look at the offensive line as a whole, they're not that good. Now, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we're talking about Pro Bowl, Joe Batonio, Ethan
Yeah, they were top
Pochix,
5 in the league.
and, Wyatt Teller, with Jack Conklin on the outside, when Nick Chubb was running behind that, when they were running stretch. But these guys are older now. And like I said, I think, Joe Batonio is past his prime now. I think he's hanging on. And I really think he probably should have hung it up last year, a la Joe Thomas. He should have just hung it up. So it's gonna be a test and how long they stay upright. That's my concern. And now with the youngest guy on the line, DeJuan Jones, going down, now you're really old.
Now you're really old, man. You're really old. But who's the biggest culprit, fellas? I mean, we've talked about a lot of different things that's going on with the offense. If you had to pick one thing to really hang your hat on as the problem, is it the offensive line? Is it the play calling of Kevin Stefanski? Or is it Joe Flacco? Like, if you had to pick one, where would you go?
Offensive line for me. Yeah, the O-line.
That's a tough question, because for me, they all coincide with one another. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you put, Pat Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, or I don't care who you put behind center. If that offensive line, case in point, when Kansas City went to the Super Bowl and they just lost the Super Bowl to the Philadelphia Eagles, why? That offensive line could not block the Eagles' defensive line. That offensive line was not good enough. And Patrick Mahomes was running for his entire life. If your offensive line can't even pass block, I can deal with not being able to run block. Okay, that's why Stefanski goes to the stretch. And what I mean by the stretch is I call it the Denver Broncos zone scheme. Where you're blocking a man at a spot. It's not anything definitive. And so the reason Nick Chubb was so successful was because they ran a lot of the Broncos stretch. Well, they got back to that. And that's why I think Judkins is going to be very good in this. But when you look at the offensive line, if you get a chance to watch all 22,
22.
yeah, you'll see there's times where Joe Bitonio can't even reach to his guy. Postage is snapping and can't even get to his guy. Wyatt Teller is bear hugging guys out here because he's not fast enough to get there. So now Judkins gets the ball and now he's got to look for cutback lanes. That's why he ripped off, well, not that one run. He ripped off a run because he had to cut back because there was nothing in front of him. So if you nail my hand down and say you pick one, it's the offensive line.
Yeah, this is 3 the Hard Way. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Fellas, one of the best things that I saw was the celebration at the end of the game, not necessarily with the players, but just to see the volume in Cleveland Stadium, finally giving those fans something to cheer about, beating a really, really good team down there by Lake Erie. It's easy to get over emotional in these situations, but we saw some good things, and we've talked about some of the deficiencies that the Cleveland Browns has. I can't remember who sent this email to me, so please forgive me who sent the email. I believe it was Shannon from Cleveland. Now that I think of it, hopefully I didn't get your name wrong. Shannon from Cleveland was like, could this be a turning point for the Cleveland Browns? I mean, beating a Super Bowl favorite team down in Cleveland Stadium. I know we talked about their deficiencies, but if they were to fix the deficiencies, let's say replace Joe Flacco, I don't know really how you patchwork the offensive line, but if they could fix some of those things, where do you see the Browns? I know, Hot Rod, you picked them to win 10 games. I picked them to go 0-6, so I was wrong about that. But could this be a turning point for the Cleveland Browns to have a pretty good season this win? Sometimes stuff like this can galvanize your team, man.
Yeah. L-Train and Rod, it's a process, okay? It's a process. If we know what the deficiencies are, they sure as heck know what the deficiencies are as well, okay? Now, again, great win 2 days ago, okay? Next week, you got another, tough one in those Detroit Lions, okay? Where we never play well when we go up there. We just don't, okay?
No.
But, hey, with the shape of our offensive line, right now, the state that they're in, it's going to be tough. It really is. And again, my concern is just wearing that defense down, keeping that defense on the field. The only thing I think that can change things going forward, like I said, give Flacco a half. And at halftime, again, if he's still, that Jeep stuck in the mud, just spinning on all 4 wheels, you got to put, Gabriel in there again. But that's a concern because that offensive line is so bad, so banged up. But like Rod say, at least Dylan can get out there and move. At least he can move and, possibly, make things happen. So to answer the young man's question, the way things are right now, the only thing that would change is if you, put the mobile quarterback in there because the offensive line isn't going to get healthy in the next 5 days. They're not. Yep. So that's my thing. That a change at quarterback.
Yep.
That's the only thing I see.
What do you think, Hot Rod?
So coming from a coach's standpoint, if I'm sitting in the war room with the Browns, the mindset is we did it. We know we can do it. We know we can go out here and play the elite teams and beat the elite teams. We're looking at it, if you're coming from the Browns aspect, we were a field goal kick away from beating Cincinnati, okay? We had a clunker in Baltimore. We rightfully should be 2-1. That's how they should be thinking. And then we beat the Packers, okay, which is a Super Bowl caliber team. Their mindset is, and it should be, if we can get this offense together, we can make a run. With this defense, we can make a run. Now, I'm not saying this defense is like them, but I'm going to compare them to that Super Bowl Ravens team. That defense was elite. All Trent Dilfer had to do was manage.
And not mess things up. Not mess things up.
And with that Baltimore Ravens team, all they had to do was put up 7. And Shannon Sharp said it himself. If we put up 7, we win in the game. Because they knew that Ray Lewis-led defense.
That's right.
With McAllister on one end, with, you know, Sam Adams, the late Tony Saragusa up front, you know, Jamie Sharper, those guys, they knew that they could shut down any offense in the NFL. Now, I'm
And
not
they
saying
did.
the Browns are like that. I'm not saying they are the Ravens. But the way that this looks, this is how the Browns are built. They're built on their defense. Because of Deshaun Watson and they $50 million in a hole, they can't spend a lot of money on offense. So give Andrew Berry credit because these rookies are really contributing. All of them.
Yeah,
Okay?
they are.
And I
Yeah,
believe
they
if
are.
Shador gets out there, Shador will. I believe Gabriel will. All these, I heard this today. This is probably Andrew Berry's best draft ever. Okay, when it comes to these rookies. All right. So I think the way the Browns are thinking right now, they're going to stay with old man Flacco because they feel like they can correct it. Okay. Now they really do. They feel like that they can put enough points on the board and allow this Jim Schwartz defense to go and do what they do. So I just think they're not thinking of changing Flacco right now. I don't even think that's coming across Kevin Stefanski's mind. I
No,
think
it's not. It's
Stefanski's
not.
mindset is, I got to fix this offense. I think he thinks it's more of his play calling, and maybe he needs to fix that. But he's not going to change at quarterback. That's not going to happen.
Right,
Unless
right.
Flacco goes out and absolutely face plants, you know, 2 interceptions, you know, and fumbling the ball. I don't see him running away from Joe.
I'm glad you said that, Hot Rod. I'm glad you said that you don't see them making a change at quarterback because I don't see it either. And I think I give a lot of credit to T because T said this a couple weeks ago, and it never occurred to me until he said it. But he was talking about Deshaun Watson. And I said the longer that Joe Flacco stays at quarterback, the more likely it is that if they make a change, and Deshaun Watson gets healthy, his skill set fits everything that we're talking about. And he gives you a veteran up under center. He's mobile. I know he's coming off of two Achilles tears. But for the most part, he's still semi-young. He's still mobile. He's been an MVP candidate in his league. He knows the offense. Man, is Deshaun Watson, a healthy Deshaun Watson, a better fit than the 2 rookies? Obviously, the 2 rookies, you want to find out what you got in the 2 rookies.
Right,
But I'm
right.
just talking about in terms of fit, X's and O's to move the Browns forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, in about 4 or 5 weeks, maybe in about 5 weeks, he
Yeah.
might be ready. He may be ready. And they're going to go with him because he is the veteran and they're paying him all that money. Okay.
Yeah.
And, you know, how would I put it? Based on what the record is, let's just say if the record, you know, doesn't look like, hey, there's much to go all in for, why not throw him out there? Okay. Why not throw him out there to protect Gabriel and Shador as long as possible? So I can foresee that happening too. And as far as Watson goes, he's got nowhere to go but up. Okay.
Right.
He's at the bottom rung of the ladder. So there's no way but up for, you know, to go for him. Okay. So
Hot Rod,
there you go.
before you chime in, the statement I want to make about that is I just have this sneaky suspicion that once it gets to that point where you have the possibility of making a change, I think the Browns are going to, their record-wise, they're going to be flirting with the possibility of, hey, if we make a run, if we win a few games, we could possibly get into the playoffs. That's where I think the Browns are going to be. They're going to be hovering close to 500, if not 500, around 500. They're going to win more games than what people, because of this defense, they're going to win more games than people give them credit for. So I think Deshaun Watson is going to come into play. Hot Rod, what do you think, man?
So, I said this some weeks ago as I thought it was a 0.1% chance of
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson being under center of the Cleveland Browns. Now, once again, everything is fluid. So here's my hot take, y'all. If there is a quarterback change, the first quarterback that will be given the opportunity is Dylan Gabriel, because that is a Kevin Stefanski guy. If Dylan Gabriel does not play out, if he does not work out, you're not going to see Shador Sanders. You will see Deshaun Watson. you will see Deshaun Watson before you see Shedeur Sanders. And I'm not going to read into that. I'm not going to even open up that Pandora's box to even talk about. I'll let everybody else do it. But I think if the Browns are winning and Dylan Gabriel, something goes amiss if he is at quarterback, I think they will put the ball in Deshaun Watson's hands. I think they will do that. The only reason I'm not strong about it is because Deshaun Watson has an inability to run a Kevin Stefanski offense.
He's
Kevin
shown that.
Stefanski offense is 2 tight ends, quarterback under center, play action, use the running game. That is his mantra. That is his MO.
And that's not Watson.
And that's not Watson. Watson is a shotgun. When he was with the Texans, even when he was at Clemson, he was a shotgun quarterback. Okay? So that's the only reason why I'm not 10 toes down on Deshaun Watson, is because I don't think he has the mental aptitude to run. I said it, the mental aptitude to run a Kevin Stefanski offense. I don't think he can do it, you know, but I think because Shedeur is such a developmental project, I don't think Kevin's going to go to him if it gets to that point. I think the emergency break the glass quarterback is Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Okay.
My only pushback, I agree with 95% of that. And I do think it matters when they're faced with that situation. Like if it's within the next couple of weeks, yes, I think it's Dylan Gabriel. If it's a little bit later on in the season, I agree with you. I think he's been ineffective running a Kevin Stefanski offense. And I think that if it was solely Kevin Stefanski's decision, he's all in on Dylan Gabriel. I'm just not quite sure it's going to be all his decision. And that's where my 5% comes in. I think he may hear from the ownership. He may hear from the people upstairs.
Ain't no may, he will.
This is the way you need to go. So I agree with 95% of that for sure. Let's get into the mailbag, fellas. I got a lot of, over the past 24 hours, a lot of people writing in trying to get their questions on the air. My first one is from Mike D. in Cleveland, Ohio. Did the Browns win because of their elite defense, or was it because the Packers just collapsed?
Elite defense. Elite defense. That's why we won.
Yep.
Both.
What do you think, Irod?
Both. It was
two
both.
things can be true. Yeah.
It was both. Yep. I think the Browns defense was elite, but I think the Packers overthought it. They overthought it.
Yeah, and they underestimated us too.
Because if Jordan Love, the interception that Grant Delpit had was a terrible throw. Grant Delpit just he didn't run with the tight end. He read Love's eyes. So he jumped that route.
Yeah. And
they had been running slants the entire game. So Grant Delpit just read it. Okay?
Yeah.
And LaFleur, the coach, he said, I should have never ran that play. He said, I should have never done that. And of course, he fallen on the sore for his quarterback. Jordan Love should have never threw that ball. You know, so a little, the block field goal attempt, it was a little bit of both. It was a bit of both.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. I believe for the most part, if you made me choose, it's because of the Browns' elite defense, but both things can be true at the same time. So that's where I stand on that question. Sarah L. from Akron. Fellas, who is your MVP of yesterday's game? That's a good question.
I'm going to give it to the kicker. It's my MVP.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to the kicker. Yep, hands down, our kicker. Yep.
I'm split because, of course, I'm a defensive guy. But I love, like I said, what Junkins did yesterday. I love what Bashard did yesterday. But that boy, Carson Schlesinger.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That dude, I'm telling y'all, he's about to be a absolute monster. That guy is
that UCLA Bruin can play.
He is everywhere. And I hope and pray that Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah gets healed up. Because can you imagine Carson Schlesinger and JOK at your linebacker position, one at your Schlesinger at your Mike, and JOK at your Sam, and Devin Bush is not playing badly at all.
No,
okay?
he's not.
He's not.
Look, if JOK can come back and just be 75% of himself.
Of what he was, yeah.
You know it.
Of what he was. Because Schlesinger is going to get better. That's the thing.
That kid
He's
can play,
going to
man.
get better. He can play. And he already has the green dot. And when some folks, I know people over the broadcast have heard what they don't know what the green dot is. The green dot is he has the call mic in his helmet. He makes the calls. Yeah. He makes the calls and relays the calls that Jim Schwartz sends him. For him to have that responsibility as a rookie.
Yeah.
As a rookie. The only other, yes, like I said, he reminds me of Clay Matthews Sr., okay? But he moves, and here's some Brown old trivia for you, old school. He moves like Chip Banks.
Chip Banks, number 56.
I thought you were about to say Mike Junkin, the mad dog in the meat house.
Mad dog in the meat house, no. He just as good as touchdown Tommy Vardell, yeah.
Yeah. My MVP would be Shelby Harris, man. You know, you don't block that field goal. It doesn't give the Browns a chance to win that game. So I give a little bit of love
That's a good one.
his way. Yeah. This one is to T. T got his own question. James T from Toledo said, T, is Andre Szmyt the long-term answer at kicker now after drilling that 55-yarder?
Yeah, he is, okay? Yeah, he is. He is. For right now, he is that guy. And you think about, what was the award he won in college? What was that award called again?
The Biletnikoff Award. Not Biletnikoff, but I'm sorry, the Lou Groza Award. Sorry.
That's it.
Right. Yeah, to answer the question, for right now, he is. Yeah, he is, because he's only going to get better. He's going to build on that. I love the love that they showed him, too, in the locker room after the game. I love that. They brought that young man and they hugged him, and, he is. He's our guy for right now. He sure is. That's Matt Barr. Remember, I think Matt Barr was one of my favorite Browns kickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our next Matt Barr. Sure is. Yep.
Okay. Chris P. from Youngstown says, fellas, Grant Delpit doesn't get enough love in my opinion. Is he one of the most underrated safeties in the NFL?
I wouldn't say that, okay? I wouldn't say that he's underrated. He can play better. Yeah. He is better than what he's shown, okay? He is much better than that. But no, I wouldn't say he's underrated. He's coming around. He's coming around, played well yesterday. And, I hope going forward he continues to build on that. But now I won't call him underrated. I won't call him. But he can play better. He's better than what he's shown us. I'll tell you that.
Yep. Rob, what do you think, man?
You have a couple of players. You have a player who is a coverage safety, and you have a player who is a box safety. Grant Delpit is a box safety, which means when he's in the box, he's like an extra linebacker. He supports in the run game. He comes up and he lays wood. I am not a fan of Grant Delpit in coverage. I really am not. I'm just being honest. I am not a fan of Grant Delpit in coverage. He busts coverage a lot. He bites on play action. He's just got a little bit more improving to do in terms of coverage. As a box safety, he'll come down and he will knock you out. Here's another comparison. A la the late, great Don Rogers. Okay? He will come down in the box and he will light you up. But he is not the greatest in coverage. Okay? There are a lot of times where Grant is out of position in coverage. But is he underrated? No, I think he's right where he should be right now.
He is. Yeah, he's right.
Yeah, that would be my answer, man. He's right where he should be. I think both of you guys hit the nail dead on the head. I mean, he's just not a good coverage guy. He's not bad, but the fact that he's not rated, possibly where people think he should be rated is because he's not a good cover guy. He's hit or miss.
Yeah, right. And Rod, I love the comparison to the late great Don Rogers. And for those of you all who don't know him, Yeah, Google him. He died, I think, like 2 weeks after Len Bias did.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
that
he
Similar
was
did.
tough.
death. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
he
tough. Yeah,
did.
a couple weeks after
But
Len Bias died.
Don
Yeah,
Rogers was an absolute assassin.
he
He was
was
a
a
He would
beast.
monster.
come
Played at
down and
Georgia, right?
no, Don
Yeah,
Rogers played at UCLA, if I'm not
UCLA.
mistaken.
Okay, I thought he
I think he
played at
was
Georgia. Okay,
UCLA.
okay,
And
okay.
Don Rogers would come down, and
Oh,
Don
he was
Rogers would
special.
knock you out. He would knock you out. I seen where Don Rogers knocked himself out, trying to get to a ball carrier. So
Yeah,
and it was when he passed, it was real tragic. It
yeah,
was
yeah. It
tragic.
sure was. Yep.
Yeah. Danielle M. from Cincinnati, Ohio, fellas, said, you guys have been critical in the past of Kevin Stefanski. How much credit goes to Kevin Stefanski for this win, or was it all just the players?
You got to give the coach some credit.
You got to give him
Okay.
something. You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
give him
you got to
something.
give him some credit. And Stefanski is a great football mind. Okay, he's that's a Ivy League guy. He's a great football mind. Um, uh, Real good play caller. Okay.
Yep.
Head coach, the jury is still out. Okay, the jury is still out. This is his 6th season. Hey, I don't expect much from the Browns this year, but hey, we need you to do something, man. Because if you don't do it this year, it's maybe time to look elsewhere. Okay, but to answer the credit, keeping it simple, answer the question. Yeah, he deserves some credit. He deserves some credit for this.
Yeah, he get a little bit of credit. I'm not, he get a little bit, for his play calling, that led up to the field goal. I'll give him
Yeah.
that. But in terms of the entire game, absolutely not. His play calling was pedestrian. Okay, his play calling was 2 steps above high school and 3 steps below college. Let's just be honest. Just some of the stuff that he called yesterday, and once again, I'm being critical because I've watched Kevin Stefanski over the last few years, and I've been critical of him in terms of his in-game adjustments, in terms of his play calling in critical situations, in terms of him some of his calls on 4th down when he's going for it on 4th down, and some of his play call decisions. And so yesterday, yes, he got the dub. Okay, great. He made a great call with. Let's be honest, with them hitting Njoku with 12 seconds left on the clock and being able to spike the football to be able to get the kickoff. Now,
9-10 seconds.
let's go back and let's watch that, because here's what we did not pay attention to. When Njoku caught the ball and got up, he spotted the ball and Posett came up and grabbed it. The referee, you're supposed to get a ball to the referee and let him spot it. They didn't do that. And the referee, go back and watch it. The referee just came in and touched the football and then backed off. Most of the time, the referee has to spot it. If the referee would have spotted it, they wouldn't have got that off. Okay? So go back and watch it and you'll see. Now, the call that he made, and then for them to get into victory formation, that's what they did, and that's why they were able to spike the ball, is because they ran through this, and this is Kevin Stefanski. They did not go too wide, and they did not get into a traditional formation. They went and got into victory formation so that they could go ahead and spike the football. So I give Kevin Stefanski credit on that. In terms of his offensive play calling during the game, I'd rather watch quicksand. I really would, because it was just like that. So
I give Kevin Stefanski a lot of credit, not necessarily for the X's and O's, because I know the game of football, but I've never been a football coach. So to say that my acumen in terms of the X's and O's stuff, I know when I see it, but I don't know if I'm correct all the time in what I'm viewing. What I do give Kevin Stefanski a lot of credit is, think about this. He lost a tough game to the Cincinnati Bengals, a game that everybody thinks they probably should have won. Took an ass kicking to the Baltimore Ravens the week before, and then got down into the last 4 minutes of this game 10-0 against the Green Bay Packers. And so I know one of the toughest things that coaches have to do is keep their players mentally focused when they just keep getting beat upside the head. So for him, in terms of managing the team, managing the players, for them to be able to have the intestinal fortitude to come back and rally back with 4 minutes left in the game
Great
and
tape.
have guys step up and
Yeah.
make plays, the
Great tape.
blocked field goal,
Yeah.
the 55-yard kick from a kid that missed earlier, in the season. I mean, I give him a lot of credit in
Yeah.
terms of just being able to manage all that. Obviously, the offense is deficient. They're not making the plays that they should make. Kevin Stefanski has made some questionable decisions, but man, to keep that team in that game at that moment, and I think it's going to be, as the Browns keep on losing, fellas, I think it's going to be hard to keep that locker room confident. And this is what goes into our next question from Jeff P. from Lakewood. He says, was this the kind of win that changes the locker room's confidence?
It has a great, I would say yes, this was. Because, again, that was a hard-fought win yesterday over, again, a team that people are picking to go to the Super Bowl. So to answer Jeff's question, yeah, it is. That was yesterday. That was. Yep.
I agree.
Yep.
Now, if they come out and lay an egg against Detroit, I'm going to come back because, once again,
We'll all forget.
I know you're going to go back.
It'll be all forgotten.
It's fluid.
Yeah, it'll be all
okay?
forgotten.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting y'all know, if they come out and they bust Detroit in the mouth, then that will solidify that win against the Packers, they're gonna be okay. But I said this when we picked the records, as I said, there are gonna be games that the Browns should lose that they're going to win. And there are gonna be games that they should have won that they're going to lose. So, if you look at it, they should have lost to Green Bay, and they beat them.
Yep.
They should have beat Cincinnati, and they lost.
Yep.
So, I'm not saying I'm a prophet, y'all, but okay. So this next game against Detroit will let us know where they really are. You know what I mean? Is this defense that elite? Okay. Because, Detroit ain't no slouch. And T has said it, and I agree. Since the days of Billy Sims, the Browns do not play well in Detroit. They never have. And
my relatives love that.
Yeah. They never have played well. There's not a time that I can remember that the Browns ever beating the Lions in Detroit. Maybe in Cleveland, but not in Detroit.
Not in Detroit. However, this is a winnable game because remember, they're down, 2 offensive linemen. Also, their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator are no longer there. The Ravens are going to, shake them up tonight, shake them up. So, hey, next week is a winnable game. Now, whether we will win is a different story, but it is a winnable game. It is.
Right.
It's a winnable game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bouncing around the NFL, fellas, there's 2 games that I'm looking forward to next week. You got the Minnesota Vikings versus the Pittsburgh Steelers over in Ireland. The reason why I'm looking forward to that is because, you got Aaron Rodgers. He wanted to come to the Vikings, made several phone calls to be a part of the team. Minnesota Vikings told him, no, we're rolling with J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy is out, is injured. Aaron Rodgers, he's got the Pittsburgh Steelers 2-1. And now the Minnesota Vikings are playing with Carson Wentz. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that game looks like. And also Michael Parsons now is going back to Dallas to visit the Dallas Cowboys, man. So those are 2 games that I'm really looking forward to. Any thoughts about those 2?
Well, I'm definitely rooting for your Vikings, okay, first and foremost, because, again, the Steelers are our division foes. However, my concern is Mike Tomlin going up against, the backup, okay? Now, Carson Wentz isn't your everyday backup because he looked good yesterday. Carson
looked pretty
real
good, yeah.
Yeah, he looked good. And I like you all's chances against the Steelers because, again, now their defense is starting to come around and play a little better, okay? So it's going to be a good one, but, hey, you all can get them, and I'm hoping that you get them. But, again, like I say, Mike Tomlin knows how to game plan against, the backup. But, again, like I say, Carson Wentz isn't your every day backup. He's a guy that's tested, that year that they won their first Super Bowl. You got to give him a lot of credit that year. He played his tail off that year. Yeah, and he can play. He's got something left in the tank. He does.
So Pittsburgh versus Minnesota, I'm gonna call this pressure. This game is pressure, and the reason I say pressure is because Blitzburg is coming. They coming to get Carson Wentz. They are not afraid of Carson Wentz. That Pittsburgh Steelers defense is not afraid of Carson Wentz. And there's a little bit of incentive for TJ Watt because all they've been talking about is Myles Garrett. That's all the national media. They've been talking about Myles Garrett. And TJ is not happy with that at all.
Yeah.
They are coming for Carson Wentz. But conversely, Minnesota is coming to get Aaron Rodgers.
Mhm.
Okay.
There you go.
So
There you go.
that's why I'm saying pressure. This game is going to be pressure. I'm going to be excited to watch and see who cracks and crumbles up under it. Now, do I want Minnesota to beat Pittsburgh? Sure.
I do.
Because I want them to beat them in the AFC, so we can, as the Browns can try to climb back up. Do I want them to have momentum going into the game versus Cleveland? No.
No.
So
no.
I'm kind of in a Cleveland conundrum.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
I really see if Carson Wentz can come out and control the offense. I love Minnesota's defense and how they just swarm the ball. They could give Aaron Rodgers fits. However, Aaron Rodgers done been through some wars, y'all, and that's
Yeah,
a
he
Mike
has.
Tomlin football team. So that's gonna be a slugfest. I'm excited to
Big
see
good one.
that one.
Yep.
Yeah. We played Aaron Rodgers last year overseas when he was with the Jets, and I thought Brian Flores' defense really got to him. I think the big difference in the game is I think we found out yesterday, and I'm really disappointed because Donovan Jackson is out, former guard at Ohio State. He got an injury to his wrist. He's going to be out until after the bye for the Minnesota Vikings, so that weakens our offensive line a little bit. But remember this name, fellas, and I'm telling you. Jordan Mason, running back for the Minnesota Vikings, who's
Jordan
backing up
Mason.
Aaron Rodgers. Why,
Okay.
not Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones. Why he's backing up Aaron Jones, I don't know. I've been calling for this kid to start all year long. This kid can tote the rock. And
Okay.
it seems like we're going to get everybody back on our offensive line with the exception of the kid from Ohio State. So our running game, I think, is going to be formidable. I don't think Carson Wentz is going to have to carry the team and make a whole lot of plays. And I think our defense is pretty stout. So I see us squeaking that game out. I think it's going to be a close game. We're undefeated overseas. We're 9-0. The Minnesota Vikings are. So whatever infrastructure they have in place when they go overseas really, really works for them. So I think they'll continue that streak. Micah Parsons going up against the Dallas Cowboys, man. What do you see in that?
Ooh, boy. Dallas got it handed to them yesterday, right? Didn't they lose? I think they
Yeah.
did.
Yep.
I
I
think
Yeah,
believe
they got handed to them. And then Green Bay, coming off a loss to us, they're going to be hot. Okay, so that'll be another good one. Now, Micah Parsons may try to, how would I put it? Pressure, like Rod say, pressure's going to be on him because Dallas, got rid of you. Dallas said, "See you later," and I'm sure he's going to want to go back and say, "Hey, that was a big mistake." So it's going to be a lot of pressure on him. It really is. So that'll be another, two big heavyweights going at it in a slugfest. Green Bay is going to want to bounce back from their loss, and so is Dallas. Getting their butts handed to them. So another good game. Yeah, another good one.
That's going to be a chess match. That's going to be
Yeah,
a chess
it's-
match because the Dallas Cowboys know Micah Parsons' strengths, but they also know his weaknesses. They also know what he can't do, and vice versa. Micah Parsons knows that Cowboy offensive line probably better than the Cowboys know themselves. Okay, so it's going to be a chess match. The Cowboys are not going to allow Micah Parsons to come back and beat them. Guarantee you. They're not going to allow that. They're not going to. I don't care if they got to, like they did Myles Garrett. I don't care if they got to quadruple team him. They're not going to let Micah Parsons get off. They're not going to let that happen. And then you still got to cover CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens.
Yeah.
Okay?
CeeDee is hurt though. I think. I don't
Did he
know if
get
CeeDee's
hurt?
going to be playing. Yeah, I think his ankle or foot or something. So he may be out.
Okay.
I think he broke
Okay.
it. I think he
Okay,
broke
yeah,
his
I
ankle.
think he's
Didn't
going to
he?
be out.
Okay.
Yep.
Then I
he's gonna
changed
be
my
out.
statement then. Okay. But George Pickens is a good wide receiver, but he ain't CeeDee Lamb. So it's just gonna be a chess match, and we'll see. I'm telling you, Jerry gonna let it be known. You better not let Micah Parsons come in here and beat us.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jerry
oh,
gonna
yeah.
lose his mind if it
Yeah.
happens.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
Oh Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of interesting games next week, man. We'll make sure to cover a little bit more NFL stuff as well. But now it is time to blow the whistle. Grab your helmets and pads. It is time for Coach Young's Two-A-Days. Hot Rod,
Coach.
who do you have in your Two-A-Days?
So I got two. All right, here we go. Number one, the Cincinnati Bengals. They got the absolute doors blown off of them by the Minnesota Vikings. Okay? And when I mean doors, I mean the front door, the back door, the side door, the screen door, the storm door, the garage door, the door in the shed, the bathroom door. They got them all blown off. Y'all need to go back to training camp because you only lost Joe Burrow. Now, don't get me wrong, Joe Burrow is elite. He's an elite quarterback. But to get the brakes beaten off y'all like that just because Joe Burrow wasn't out there, that's a problem, Pat. That's a flag on the play, y'all. Unnecessary ignorance. I don't understand. That's amazing to me. And don't get me wrong, Minnesota's a good football team. We've already established that. But Cincinnati ain't no slouch either. So for y'all to get the brakes beat off of y'all like that, y'all need Two-A-Days. Come on, Coach Young's Two-A-Days. We gonna go through some scenarios and we gonna work with the backup quarterback and we gonna work with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And, them guys still out there, right? Oh, okay. It's just Joe Burrow. All right. We gonna work on that. And then
don't think that team is gonna do us like that. L-Train, don't think that Minnesota team is gonna do us like that. They ain't gonna happen.
Nah. So my next one is the Atlanta Falcons. So the Atlanta Falcons cut their kicker, okay? Pro Bowl kicker. Cut him.
Yes, sir.
Okay? The guy that they signed, he didn't miss one field goal. He missed two. He missed two field goals. Atlanta, you going to Two-A-Days, okay? Just for your bad choices, all right? Kickers miss. Hey, we proved it, okay? Szmyt missed. But guess what? They give Kevin Stefanski credit. He said, I'm going to believe in this kid, and I'm going to stay with this kid. So and it worked out. But the Falcons, oh, my goodness, yes, y'all got Two-A-Days. Come on, y'all can come work with us, get the kicker out there, and, we going to have that. So there's my Two-A-Days right there.
Wow.
Y'all, put your helmets on. Make sure you got your jock strapped up and get ready to sweat because we're going to get it in, y'all, right there.
Bengals and the Falcons, wow.
Grab your Gatorade. You're heading to Coach Rodney Young.
Two teams right off of Interstate 75. 75 go through Cincinnati and Atlanta. They're both I-75 teams.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Hot Rod's Two-A-Days, man. That is awesome. Hey, I got a mystery Brown for the week. Hot Rod is up, 2-1?
2-1. Hot Rod is on me. 2-1.
For the mystery Brown, so let's get after it. I got a good one this week. All right, here's your first clue, fellas. I was known as much for my speed and my quickness as my size.
Gerald the Ice Cube McNeil.
First one.
He got it on the first one?
He got it on the
No,
first
y'all guys playing that, man. Y'all playing that. No.
I did not talk before that.
Wow. Hey, I don't remember him. Tell me a little bit about him. I don't remember him.
So
He was the return specialist.
Yeah, Gerald McNeil was before Eric Metcalf. Gerald McNeil actually played with he played in the USFL with Jim Kelly.
Yes,
and
sir.
then he was Jim Kelly's main wide receiver. And then he came to the Browns. Gerald McNeil was about 5'8", 5'9". He was about 145 pounds, soaking wet. But Gerald McNeil was a problem. When you kicked the Gerald. Mm-hmm.
Now, Hot Rod, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to test your knowledge on Gerald McNeil. Why did they call him the Ice Cube? Do you remember?
Don't remember. I heard the story, but I cannot remember right now.
Wow.
I believe it was his little league coach said that if you put an ice cube on the table and you squeeze it, that he used to jitterbug just like a melting ice cube on a table.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you were to push it across. So he got nicknamed the Ice Cube.
How long did he play for us?
He played for a few years.
Wow,
Yeah, he
and,
did.
and,
I don't
and
remember.
right after he left, that's when we drafted Eric Metcalf.
Okay.
He was
Okay.
Yes.
before Eric Metcalf.
Okay.
And actually,
Yes.
he was with the Browns when Metcalf, I believe, was a rookie. But yeah, Gerald the Ice Cube McNeil. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
he played from 1986 to 1989.
Wow.
He was
okay.
5'7", 142 pounds.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
He was featured in so many highlight reels for his shiftiness, breakaway speed. T, you should Google him.
Yeah, I
or
will.
YouTube
I will.
him.
I will.
Yeah,
I
he was
will.
absolutely fantastic. I'm surprised you don't remember it.
Yeah. Wow. Sure don't. And that was during 86 to 89.
Yep.
That was I was early in my Navy career, and I was
Okay.
gone a lot. And this was before satellite TV and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gone a lot during that period. Okay, not to make no excuse, but
Yep.
yeah.
But
All right, so
man,
Rod's up
hot
on me
rod
3-1.
on the first question.
Wow, first question. Wow, that hot
Man.
rod. Okay.
Man.
Come
That's
on,
it.
T. Come
Yeah,
on,
you
T.
got me. Yeah, 3-1. You got me. 3-1. You got me, dog. You got me, homeboy. You got
Okay.
me. My man.
Okay,
My
so we
man.
got start one, bench one, cut one, erase one.
Hot Rod's
Rod,
turn.
I believe it's you this week, my friend.
It's hot rod.
All right, let's stay with some football. Let's rank some wide receivers all time.
Okay.
Let's
Okay,
do
I got
that.
you.
All right, let's do that. All right. So I'm gonna start. We're gonna start. The first wide receiver is gonna be Megatron, Calvin Johnson.
Okay.
All right. Your next receiver is gonna be Ohio State Buckeye legend, Minnesota Viking legend, Chris Carter.
Oh man, don't
Chris
go
Carter.
there, man.
Wow.
Yeah, Chris Carter.
Mm.
This next one, University of Marshall, and also Minnesota Viking,
Moss.
Randy Moss.
Okay.
And then finally, Mississippi Valley, San Francisco 49er legend, Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice. Wow. Okay.
All right, T, you want to go first?
I'll go first. Give me 2 seconds. Give me
All right.
2 seconds. Let me see. Oh, man. Okay.
I got to try to separate my bias on this one. I got to try to
Yeah.
separate my bias.
Can you see this why I put a couple Minnesota Vikings in there?
I know you did, man. I know
Yeah,
that's why you
man.
did that.
Okay. Let me
It's a tough one.
see. Yeah, it is.
This is a tough one.
Okay. All right. Let me go. All right.
All
Wow,
right.
this is a tough one. All right. I'm gonna start none other than Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley State. Jerry Rice, HBCU. Also, Rick Feature played for that team too. That was one of your
Ricky
dad's
Feature.
favorite wide receivers too, L Train.
Yep.
Ricky Feature, your dad.
Yeah,
loved
he used to
him.
live on Wofford. Used
Yep,
to always
sure
jog
did.
through McCann.
Yep, sure did.
Mhm.
Ricky Feature. Okay, so I'm gonna start Jerry Rice. I'm gonna bench the great Randy Moss, and I'm glad he's making it back from his cancer. Randy
Mhm.
Moss, I tell you, he was something, man. So I'm gonna bench him. I'm gonna cut Chris Carter, gonna cut CC, and erase Megatron. Megatron. That was a tough one, but yeah, I'm gonna erase Megatron. Yep.
Mm.
So
All
start
right.
Rice, bench Randy, cut Chris Carter, and bench Megatron.
Believe it or not, Mr. Austin, we are kind of similar.
Okay.
Okay. We differ in one area, but we're pretty similar. I'm going to start Jerry Rice. I am going to bench Chris Carter. I am going to cut Randy Moss.
Ooh.
And I'm going to erase Megatron.
Wow. Okay.
Tough one, man.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
All right, so, Captain, I'm going to agree with you 100%.
Wow.
Wow.
I am going to start Jerry Rice. I'm going to bench Randy Moss. I'm going to cut Chris Carter. And I am going to erase Megatron.
Yep.
Now, that was even tough for me.
Yeah.
was
Because
tough.
Chris Carter's Ohio State. I love Chris Carter. All he did was catch touchdowns. You know,
all he did.
That's it.
I could have easily with Chris Carter. I could have easily threw Jake Reed on here. Okay,
Yeah.
that's another one.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, with man, John Taylor with Jerry Rice. You know, there's so many different receivers that I could have threw on here. But yeah, I got to cut Chris Carter
Yeah.
because Randy Moss
That was a
in
good four,
his
though, Hot Rod.
heyday
That was a good four.
was uncoverable.
Mm.
Yeah,
He was a
uncoverable.
bad boy.
I
Yeah.
was gonna hit y'all with and I might bring this back, is the best cornerback duo in NFL history. And I might throw that
Yep.
back y'all because I saw yesterday, because it was a celebration of the Dog Pound in Cleveland,
Hanford Dixon.
and I got to see
Yep.
Hanford Dixon and Frank
Hanford Dixon.
Minifield again. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow.
My favorite.
Mhm.
My favorites. Yep.
Oh, I
Wow.
love
I don't know,
Minnie.
T. I don't know if you I don't know if you remember this, but my dad used to know a lot of the Cleveland Browns. And we had a get-together. We had a get-together at my house. It was a cookout. And Elvis Franks, who was on the
Franks.
defensive line
Mhm,
for the
mhm.
Cleveland Browns at the time,
Mhm,
came over.
mhm.
Not Eric Metcalf, Frank Minifield
Frank
came
Minifield.
over, and I can't remember who the third Brown was
Okay.
that came over. But I
Right.
remember Frank Minifield said he was going to have 2 picks in the next game
Okay.
on that Sunday. And hell
Okay.
if he didn't do it,
He
man.
did
I
do it.
remember that as a
Wow.
little kid.
Wow.
I will
Wow.
never forget that for the rest of my life. That was
Wow.
absolutely awesome.
Wow.
Frank
I have
Minifield.
Frank. Yeah.
Frank
From
Minifield
Louisville.
was the most underrated corner
Yeah, he was.
Yep.
to
Yeah, he
me
was.
in NFL history.
Yeah, he
He
was.
was
Yeah,
a
he was.
lockdown
Yeah.
corner.
Yes, he was. Yep.
More to me than Hanford Dixon. Hanford Dixon was good, but
Mhm.
Frank
Yep.
Minifield,
Locked you
Frank
down.
Minifield
Yep.
could shut
The
down the
dogs.
whole side
Mhm.
of the field.
You sure
Yep.
could.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure could. I
Yep.
got a picture, I think. I'll send it to you guys of the two of them going out surveying the field before a game. And the field was at Old Municipal Stadium, and it was covered in ice. And one of them had on their own fur coat. They both had on their uniform, and one was wearing his fur coat over his uniform. I think I got that picture, so I'm gonna send it to you guys. I think I have it. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, fellas, let's get to our parting shots. What do you got?
Okay, I'm going to go first, man. The best thing that happened last week was our Cleveland Guardians, my Cleveland Guardians. They won 10 in a row. They finally got beat yesterday to the Twins. Okay, they took 3 or 4 from that series. But at the end of August, I believe, mid-August, they were 15 games behind the Detroit Tigers. 15 games. They're only 1 game behind the Tigers. They start a series with the Tigers tomorrow, 3 games against Detroit, and then they close out against the Texas Rangers. This team was left for dead, okay? I had counted them out. A few weeks ago, they got swept by the Atlanta Braves, and I just threw the hat in, threw my towel in, so they were done. And now here they are, 84-72, with an overall pitching ERA of 3.70. The Cleveland Guardians are on point, and that's a team nobody in the American League wants to see, I tell you. So if the playoffs were to start today, they'd be in as a wild card. But you know what? They're just 1 game behind Detroit, about to go head-to-head with them. So go ahead and get the division, fellas. Go ahead and get it. The Cleveland Guardians, hats off to them because they are just fighting. Yes, they are.
Mines will be, I gotta give a shout out again to the young man, the kicker of the Cleveland Browns, man. I mean, to be able to go through losing your mother and you know, possibly being run out of town after missing the field goal against Cincinnati, to rebound and kick a 55-yard field goal to win the game. And like T said, just the jubilation, as he ran into the dog pound and jumped into the dog pound. I just think that was a great moment for that young man. So I want to see, we as, talking sports, we always will talk, sometimes negatively about certain things, but we got to accentuate the positive. That young man showed perseverance.
Yeah,
He
he
showed
did.
stick-to-itiveness
Yeah,
and
he did.
fortitude. And so I'm gonna give him a shout out. Yeah, great
Oh, yeah,
job.
no doubt.
Keep it going, kid.
Well
Keep it
deserved.
going.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes the decisions you don't make are the best decisions you make. You look at the Atlanta Falcons, they got rid of their guy maybe a little bit too quick, and now they're stuck with the kicker that may not be up to the task, but we'll see. My parting shot goes out to the Indiana Fever. They beat the Atlanta Dream 87-85 in Game 3, a playoff matchup, to advance to the WNBA semifinals, fellas, and they're doing it without Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin, yep. Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if a lot of people saw that coming. Once the news came out that Caitlin Clark was going to miss the rest of the season, I thought people said, okay, it was a nice season, but the Indiana Fever, we can look forward to them making a run in the playoffs next year. They are still doing it. And if this team is doing it with defense and timely clutch plays.
Yeah.
If they make it to the finals without Caitlin Clark, man, it's going to be one of the best stories in WNBA basketball for sure.
And that's a good Atlanta Dream team they beat. You know? Yeah, that's a good team they beat.
Yeah. Yeah. So for people say that we don't talk a lot of women's sports, we're going to get there. We're going to talk a lot of women's sports, but I just wanted to bring that in as my parting shot. Well, fellas, another great show. 3 the hard way, as always. We're going to keep an eye out on the NFL, WNBA. NBA is starting up. You know, we're going to take a look at our Cleveland Cavaliers and keep the microscope on the Cleveland Browns. Fellas, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for another great show.
Yes, sir.
He's going to catch you. He's going to catch you.
3-1, baby. 3-1, baby.
This is 3 the hard way, and we will see you when we see you. Peace out. Later, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.